welcome to a very special episode of Full House. Episode 64 of Tailgate Update. We have a full house. Everyone is here, bright and shining, or in my case, like reflected glory of all my three colleagues. We got Ryan Besaw, Julie Miller, Caleb Horn, and myself. I'm Jay Moffitt. And we're going to start out today by talking about a little bit of the NBA. So I'm hoping Ryan can give us something to start on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what you got?
I mean, where do you want to start first? We can start with Wembanyama.
Yeah, let's start with important things. Yeah.
So sad story for him this year. He's being shut down for the remainder of the season due to a blood clot in his shoulder. And also bad news for the Spurs. Pop is not returning the rest of the season. I believe I heard Popovich is going to be out for the rest of the season as head coach.
Yeah.
So,
well,
not a good week for the Spurs.
I don't think you need an injury specialist for this topic, but having a clot anywhere is bad news.
Yeah. Well,
you're welcome.
It's not a good week for the Spurs.
And it's not even that far away from your lungs. It's just.
Yeah, well, that's what's. Who was I listening to saying like this could be a like lifelong deal almost for him?
Yep.
So that's
pretty much.
That's really scary for him and really a bummer because
after you've had one, you always are more at risk for having another one, and just having one at all is obviously terrifying. So yeah, for sure.
I can't remember who it was, but their career got cut pretty short because of something similar. I cannot remember who it was for the life of me though.
I believe it was Chris Bosh, maybe.
Yeah. Chris Bosh.
Yep.
He was towards the tail end of his career, but
towards the end, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Rams left tackle Alaric Jackson had it a couple years ago. His rookie year, he had to miss the remainder of the season with it. Yeah,
that's scary.
That is so scary.
See, that's something you expect more from like an offensive lineman, just because they have so much mass they got to carry, as opposed to like a Chris Bosh or Wembanyama. Like
I know some of it's genetic. Like I have a genetic condition that has to do with blood clotting, or my family does. I thank God am only a carrier. And it promotes clotting and it over clotting, and you're more likely to clot. So like a lot of my family has that, and it's Lord. And my grandma was undiagnosed and had 2 kids. Like that's terrifying. Yeah. But anyway, so they might have like a genetic condition, like a lot of people in my family do, that can promote it. Typically at that age, there's going to be an extenuating circumstance for sure, because you really haven't had enough time to trash your body yet. So it's going to be something else.
Wemby even 21 yet?
I don't know. He's been in the league for 2 years now?
This is second year.
Yeah.
And also, when you blood clot too much, your blood clots too much, you usually have to go on a thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then that makes it easier for you to bleed, which can make it dangerous for sports. And then also, when you're prone to blood clotting and on a thinner, that makes transportation more difficult because you have to be more careful. So, like, the plane flights the team takes could be a problem as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Should we talk about Embiid before we talk about Bobby Portis?
Yes.
Okay. A little bit about Embiid. So he's finally admitting that the left knee is hindering his play this year. He's also dealing with a foot sprain, and he's only played in 18 games out of 55 the Sixers have played this year. And they are struggling mightily this year.
They're bad.
I just felt like after his the Bell's palsy, that was a really great warning from his body to like chill down. I think maybe he's getting on too, right? Like he's not a spring chicken.
Wasn't that just this past off season? Right?
Yeah, no, during the season, remember? Because
it was at the beginning of the season. Yeah,
everybody was asking what's wrong with his eye, and like it was the talk of the town. Because it was scary, okay? Like, it looked weird. And for a good reason, because it's your body screaming, good Lord, give me a break. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sixers have been so bad that the Bulls are 4-15 their last 19 games, and they still have not gained any ground in terms of draft pick.
Wow.
The Bulls are really that bad this year?
Well, yeah, man, they're like 21-39 or something, like 21-35, something like that.
Well, when you phrase
Well,
it like that,
I mean, they've dumped off who? Zach LaVine,
Mhm.
Russo. They still have Vooch and Lonzo, I guess, but Lonzo's been kind of hit and miss.
well,
Yeah,
when
he's been
everybody's
Oh.
out a
42
lot.
in the league, this is going to be a problem because you're going to trade people around who are all aging and
Right.
are going to have injuries all the time. That's why you need younger players, which we don't have.
You gotta hit on them draft picks, man. Like
We got to have draft picks.
that too.
Mm.
We've not gotten a draft pick from any of those trades.
Hey, man.
That was the amazing thing with the Levine one. I didn't
Worst-
understand.
Worst freaking front office in the league, hands down.
Really.
I mean, they got to be. And I guess they had an offer for Vooch, and they turned that down. I'm like, well, that's cool.
Fine. We didn't need him
Dude,
anyway.
dude's only like 36 years old, you know?
Are you sure Chicago's the worst front office in the league?
That's still pretty young. And
Thank you.
No,
I
they
mean, I wasn't going to dispute you right to your face, but seriously,
I mean, no,
that's
the
pretty much
worst?
where you
Well,
should
you
do
gotta-
it, Jay.
You gotta think
Hold
about
on,
this
so-
though. You gotta think about this though.
they're
Mavs.
stuck in the middle. That's the worst place to be in the NBA. And they had no draft picks for like the last 3 years. So
Okay, yeah, I can see that,
that's-
but
you're,
The
you're in
Mavs just-
purgatory.
the Mavs just unloaded Luca, who's like 25, for
A second.
Conditioning was the reason why they sent him away, and they brought back a aging glass man in
I'm
Anthony Davis.
citing like 20 years of
Okay. Okay.
incompetence versus one really
This
poor
season,
move.
yeah, I got you.
Tell it.
So
I got
but you have to remember too. I mean, they had they had Porzingis.
it just didn't work there for some reason, man. And who else did they have that was like a really? I mean, he pretty much led their way.
They had Brunson, man.
Yes, thank you.
They
That's
let
who it
go
was.
Porzingis. They let go now 3 people that will be the leading scorer or the second leading scorer on 3 different teams. I mean, Brunson's been a multiple All-Star since they just released him, right? They didn't trade him in Dallas.
Yeah, they just let him walk.
Mm.
There's nothing worse than letting a talented player walk. You're
Correct me
getting
if I'm
nothing in
wrong,
return.
But are the Mavs, in my eyes, have always seemed to operate kind of like the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh God, yeah.
Like really
Yeah.
good at developing and like really good homegrown dudes, but they just never really go out and get that big fish per se. Am I wrong?
I don't think you are. I mean, I don't follow baseball as much as you two guys do, but I mean, even with me, that rang a bell as being legendarily bad, Tampa Bay.
They're just notoriously cheap, but they somehow still scrape and get 90 wins or something a year, and you're like, how the heck did they do that with
They
nobody of
hire
noteworthy?
people with questionable morals.
So, I don't know. But yeah, Bulls, horrible.
You know what's weird?
Horrible.
We were all talking about whatever Wanda Franco forever, and then like now he's like somehow just completely under the radar, just done.
I think they're still going through the process over yonder in
Mhm.
Dominican Republic.
But yeah, the MLB is essentially just like wiped him away
Yeah,
from anything.
he's gone. Yeah, he's
So they just
Yeah.
they disappeared him essentially.
Okay.
So,
Speaking of people that are wiped, Ryan, what did the NBA do to Bobby Portis?
Bobby Portis gone 25 games, violating the anti-drug policy. He tested positive for tramadol, used to treat pain in adults. His representative, however, Mark Bartelstein, I don't know, of Priority Sports said it was a quote, an accident.
I'm gonna smack the next person who just says Harvey Weinstein. It's Steen. My God.
What are you thinking he was taking? What was he? Thought he took Toradol or something like that?
And it said the article said he took tramadol.
Is
I
that
know, but
not
what did he
common
think
for?
he was
And he
taking?
thought he took Toradol.
Is that not common for athletes to take? Yeah, because one's a
Mhm.
shot and the other one. Typically, one's a
Right.
shot and the other one is a pill. Yes, but it's
Yes.
also
What's-
a super low. Like it's not a strong pain pill at all. Like my grandma took that shit recreational for her arthritis. Like it's not.
Yeah, and they just had banned it this last offseason, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Which I don't even understand. Like if it's essentially ibuprofen on steroids a little bit.
It's not
then
I
what's
could
the
think
big
of a
deal?
lot worse to take.
It's not like he's taking steroids.
Is it like pretty much equal to like Canadian Tylenol?
I've never taken Canadian Tylenol, so I don't know.
Okay. I think that's like 3 to 4 times the power of like
But
American
I
Tylenol.
do know that like she went through some withdrawals when she went off of it, so it is still a pain medicine. Like she had to do it
Yeah.
with the doctor's help, always do that. So I know it still has like some impact, but it seems like especially with somebody that like that tall as a young athlete, like I can't see it being like a regular dose. Like I don't know. I don't know. Or why so is it if you're not prescribed it or you just can't take it at all?
Can't take it at all.
Yeah.
Banned
It's on their-
substance.
yeah.
So Percocets are fine if you need it, but you can't take that.
I'm sure that-
I don't know.
A little Vicodin is good for the soul, but nothing.
Yeah.
I
That's how it goes,
should.
man.
I'm sure you probably can access their ban list. I'd be curious as to what's on there.
Surely,
That's not-
like if you're injured, why wouldn't most people, especially at the beginning of the injury, would need that, right?
Well, how old's Bobby now? Is he mid-30s now?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you that. I don't know.
I mean, you're talking about a like legitimately good 6-man.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm
it's a
glad
lot
that
of
they're
minutes.
monitoring it because let's be honest, the opioid addiction crisis has definitely hit all professional sports like the rest of the world. I mean, the rest of the society, you know. So I guess I can appreciate that, but sometimes it's a little heavy-handed and it feels like
This feels a little extreme, but
yeah. It's basically like you popped a couple extra Tylenol, like
not a doctor. But
I mean, when it's your agent talking, you just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt that it was just like one and it just happened to show up in
Right.
the drug screen.
right.
I mean, he could have been taking it every day for a week for it to eventually show up in the drug screen. You know, you don't know. So,
yeah.
but anyway, that guy earned his 3%. So,
And so he's out for what you said, like 20 games.
25.
25.
Jesus.
There's 26. There was 26 remaining when he got the suspension, so he'll be back for one game and then playoffs.
yeah, maybe he'll take the last game for rest.
That's a hell of a consequence.
Yeah, probably should.
Oh yeah, load management. Load management for the last game.
Yeah.
You took too many Tylenol. You're out for 20 games. What the?
Do they test them while they're suspended? I wonder.
I don't know. I've never heard anything like that, so I don't know.
I don't really know too much about P policies. I know a little bit because I remember in the NFL when it first started, they were like, it's an infringement on your rights to even get a P test, like back on the war on drugs, which impacted like steroids and other stuff like that, which I did not know until the Vince McMahon doc. They started like cracking down on that, but like even before that, like the 70s, they didn't have it. I think it was like the 80s before they started. So I do need to learn more about the P test protocols, but not totally up on it.
Okay. I don't know either. Ryan, Caleb, anybody, do you have anything else happening in NBA? Because it seems like a slow time of year just starting back after the All-Star break.
NBA. I think we're going NHL next, right? So this might be a good segue.
I think we're
Okay.
going to MLB.
NHL pretty well just murdered the NBA in front of everybody, I think. With
Yeah.
their all. I mean, one, the NBA has been a joke anyway, but then the All-Star game. I mean, you have LeBron hours before the game, essentially just saying, "Nah, I'm not going to play for whatever reason," and
LeBron don't
I mean,
need a reason.
just a horrible product.
Yeah.
But I mean, you
it's,
got people that paid to go see LeBron specifically. He's supposed to be the face of the league,
yeah.
and he just completely bows out. Doesn't give somebody else a chance to play in the game that might have wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just the league is just in shambles. It's horrible.
So, listen, people don't want to have this conversation. They want to avoid it. They want to put Braun on this pedestal, but he's had a hand in destroying the NBA as a whole.
And he's been pretty terrible for it.
Isn't he the guy that said there's no party like a Diddy party?
Yeah, he's that guy.
Maybe, I guess.
Yeah, I think we'll be hearing about him
but-
in other ways.
Yeah, but I think that was like a dozen years ago.
Yeah, because it hasn't. It's he's only been doing his
Yeah,
stuff recently.
from a dozen years ago too.
Yeah, it's not like the lawsuits are already back in 2004, heading towards the 90s or anything.
Yeah, he loves drinking wine with Diddy, he says. So
I'm already questioning. I think any pedestal we put him on, he'll get knocked off of shortly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not too much on the pop culture thing, but I do know that one of Diddy's lawyers is trying to get off the case, and this is the guy that represented Osama bin Laden.
Oh boy!
So that should tell you something.
Oh boy!
It's just kind of really this guy's got conscience on Diddy. Okay,
Jeez, that's bad.
that is wild to think about. It's like, okay, this guy's got conscience on this now. What kind of things are going on? So
That's got to be pretty dark.
Oh, we gonna find out.
gotta be pretty wild. Yeah, we'll talk about baseball for a little bit because we got a lot of thoughts about NHL.
Oh, I jumped the gun. Sorry.
He did.
No, that's
Caleb.
not right.
I segued too early.
No, we were still talking about the NBA. So anyway, Ryan's got some things on baseball, and
yeah. Let's just jump into the baseball thing here. Two pitchers in the last week have been smacked with line drives in a spring training game. Let's start off. Bobby Miller, I think, was probably the better of the two.
Seems okay, right?
Yeah, he's just in concussion protocol. There's no damage done.
No damage done.
Structurally, I meant, like, other than his brain being rattled. He was hit with a 105.5 mile an hour liner, and took it like a champ. Walked
Feel
off
like
the
a
field.
man.
The
He
fact
didn't
he
take
walked
no
off-
tramadol.
He walked off the field on his own power. He was just in concussion protocol as a precaution. So haven't heard anything since then. But yeah, so that was the first one. The second one happened yesterday, Sunday. A prospect for the Padres. I think his name's Cole Papelham or whatever his name is. Anyways, he's stable, but he was smacked in the face with a 102.4 mile an hour line drive off the bat of Dodgers first baseman Aaron Bracho in the 8th inning.
Wasn't
What
there?
was going on over there, Julie?
God damn it! My research team is trying to knock my headphones out. Wasn't there that one guy who got killed on the field because he got a baseball to the head?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
I think it was
off the top of your head.
Yeah, it was like a guy.
That's not funny, but funny.
So Cole actually ended up sustaining multiple facial fractures. So he didn't exactly get off as light as Bobby Miller did, but he remained alert and he's in decent spirits, they said.
But he must have taken it more like in the face. I think Bobby took his like off the forehead, which is naturally denser bones.
It was like kind of like off the like corner of it, like off the
Yeah,
side
it
of
was Ray
That's
Chapman
worse.
in 1920. He got hit in the head by a pitch thrown by Carl Mays of the New York Yankees. He collapsed to the ground, and he later died in the hospital.
It's 1920s. I don't feel as bad for chuckling.
So Cole was taken to the ER, but he was discharged later that night. So he's all good, aside from the facial fractures. So
Gotta
two
look
guys,
alive. Gotta wake up. Just
You
because
got-
spring
yeah.
training don't mean it ain't a live ball.
you got to be pitching like Greg Maddux, man. That the finish gets you right there, ready, like a cat. Anyways,
The glove up.
so moving on from people getting their faces reconstructed by baseball, the 40. This one, the Dodgers really put a hurting on the Yankees. They're changing policies now. All right, the 49-year tradition of no beards in New York is out the window. They say they will allow well-groomed beards, a rule that's been in place since 1976.
Dumbest rule ever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The dumbest rule. So glad
I
it's
can.
gone.
Okay, so yeah.
Isn't there some communities in this country that require wearing a beard? Like
Amish, yes. If you're
and
married, you wear a beard,
some
yes.
Jewish, and then also I think
Yeah.
some people in like the Middle East. So like fuck them
Sure,
if they want to
yeah.
play for New York.
Yeah, and I heard that they were feeling they were going to miss out on top free agents, because they couldn't grow a beard, or they had
Yeah.
to shave their beard.
It's just the principle of it. Like, it's just dumb.
Yeah,
This isn't the military. Like, what are you doing?
so we don't. It's you want to look professional because like you're playing in New York, blah blah blah. Steinbrenner was like, "Oh, we are going to look good on the field. We're going to win." Blah blah blah. Now we don't want Brandon Marsh out in center field looking like he just walked out of a cave. Okay, that's
if he's
probably
hitting 300 and 30
He's
pounds,
not.
I don't care.
he's not. So
Plenty of other dudes with beards that dude.
sure, yeah. But here's the thing though: Thurman Munson had a mustache. Reggie Jackson had a mustache. Goose Gossage had a crazy mustache. Raleigh Fingers.
Yeah.
But it was a problem.
Al Roboski.
Somewhere above it.
So
Somewhere above it, I guess. I guess if you led them to a World Series, you could grow a mustache.
You're Mr. October.
Yeah, if you hit 3 bombs in a World Series game, you get to have a mustache.
That's good.
it's almost like it grows
for
naturally
29.
on men's faces.
Yeah, but if you played under George Steinbrenner, you had to shave it.
He sounds like a real winner.
He was.
Literally
a real winner.
was. Unfortunately, but fortunately for him.
He had a lot of wins. He fired Billy Martin 3 times.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's everything for the MLB for now, I suppose.
thanks for shaking.
It's good
So,
dose. Good to see it back. Good to hear
yeah.
on the radio.
Yeah. So we have the Tokyo series coming back again. March 18th.
Okay.
Yeah. Not looking forward to that. I think it's just
I know, because
the
everybody else
Cubs got to come back, and then you're back into camp for what, a week and a half.
it doesn't make sense to me, but at the same time, like
It should just be an exhibition game, is what it should be. It shouldn't be.
Well, that's what it used to be. It used to be
part of their series.
like the Japan team versus like I think it was an all-star team, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like I don't know, fucking stupid. Because like you have those 2 games, and the next thing you know, like we have a week off, and it's still spring training,
Mhm.
and then everybody else starts opening day. It's
Yep.
whatever.
Which your team's not part of that. Opening
team's
day,
not-
right?
My team?
No. I'm saying like if the Cubs, Dodgers, like I know you're,
Yeah.
but they won't play on opening. Do they play opening weekend?
Don't know. I don't know. I have to look at the schedule,
I would,
but I know the Dodgers are playing, right?
yeah. Dodgers, Cubs.
Yeah. So they're gonna play those 2 games. It's 2-game set, right? Or 3-game.
2.
2-game set, yeah, because it's 17th and 18th, or 17th and 18th, 18th, 19th, yeah.
Yeah. Which it'll be on at like 3 a.m. here, whatever it'll be.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why it should just be part of spring training.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Let's stop yelling at the clouds and start talking about the NHL. How about that?
Let's do it.
Okay, bring it.
Sound good, Jay?
Yeah, good.
Julie, sound good?
Yeah, all we ever do is yell at the clouds, just in different context.
True. So I know Jay didn't watch. Caleb, Julie, did you guys watch 4 Nations Face-Off final?
I got to watch a couple of the games, including the final.
What did you think?
I think the NHL had a hell of a 2 weeks. Going into it, I was like, we're taking 2 weeks off for what? Like, this is dumb. ended up being absolutely fantastic. And
I thought for sure it could have been like a week, but 2 weeks was great.
I mean, could you ask for better hockey? Those guys like went out there and laid it on the line too. Loved it.
Yeah, yeah. I said earlier, I think NHL grew in popularity like a hell of a lot more than it did in the last 10 years, just from that 2 weeks alone.
Oh man, that was, and talk about a good appetizer for the Olympics.
Yeah, because the Olympics are coming up next year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome. We'll get another 2 weeks off next year too. It's gonna be it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be
I
great.
can't wait.
I just hope some players don't back out. That's all I hope. Like,
I don't think they
Go
will
play.
after that. After seeing what that drew and just the crowds.
Yeah.
And I mean, leading up to the final game that's all I heard on sports radio, and that was really cool. I can't remember the last time that happened. I mean, not in my lifetime.
I think at least 5 or 10 years, because I never hear about NHL. I'm in a non-NHL town. And it was like half of the conversation because it's in the downtime of the season, right after the Super Bowl and all. It's perfect timing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely perfect.
And not only that, they're going up against NBA All-Star Weekend too. I mean,
they squashed him.
It was just
squashed him.
No contest. The dunk contest was again. I mean,
you got guys coming from the G League to participate in a dunk contest, and like, granted, McClung is good, but like, come on, man.
He almost landed on top of the car when he jumped over it. Like, we've seen it done before many times, and you didn't even do it that great. Anyways,
but think about the Major League Baseball All-Star game. If they had a guy from AAA participating, they would laugh so hard.
Oh, yeah,
it's the same concept.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's funny.
About a guy from the UFL participating in the Pro Bowl.
Now you're cutting a little close here now.
Especially since we have some people from the UFL who did very well in the NFL season this year.
But
for the most part.
It's like somebody coming over from the Arena Football League and be like, "Hey,
God, not Arena.
I am playing in the precision passing now." So yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, Team Canada takes Four Nations Cup over USA 3-2 in overtime.
What a game, though!
It was
what a game!
Awesome game, but at the same time, like it's
that first 10 minutes, the crowd. I mean, just that was.
They're all into it.
So electric.
They're all into it.
But, yeah, that was a tough loss, man.
It hurt because like all I can think about is Crosby in the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. Still pisses me off to this day.
And basically just relived it.
Yeah, I just relived it with frickin' McDavid. Yeah.
And we had our chances, man. That's the thing that sucks.
And that's what pisses me off the most. Is we had the chance to win it in regulation and even in overtime had the chance to win it multiple times.
Matthews needed to bury a couple of those, man.
God, yeah. We had an empty net, and the just puck bounces didn't bounce our way, and they bounced the opposite direction into a Canadian stick, and off it goes,
Well, and what's he doing leaving McDavid wide open in front of the net?
Well, I think the one thing that hurt one thing that hurt the most is we didn't have McAvoy. Charlie McAvoy did not play.
I know. That does suck. But
we say the same thing, though, because Canada was missing McCarr in the first game we played him.
That made a difference.
It does make a difference when you're missing your best defenseman, Nathan McKinnon wins turning MVP. Good for him. Fuck off back to Colorado.
Yep. Thanks. See you later.
Yeah. Thanks for the showing, but go away. Take Cal with you. Cal. I don't know. Fucking lettuce.
I like McCarr.
All right. My opinion, I think he's the best defenseman in the league, but
yeah,
he can fuck off. Canada has won the last 3 international tourneys.
Shocker.
Yeah. You come out of
it is kind of their sport.
It is.
Yeah.
But like we hang with them. So
we're getting there. Our team is young.
We're getting there. Very young. Yeah. It pisses me off we didn't ask Patrick Kane to play.
What?
We didn't ask Patrick Kane to play at all.
And that's the thing. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, even his age, I think he buries one or two in the tourney.
Yeah.
I really do. And just give him limited minutes because he is old and has had I mean, you got to think during their cup runs for 12 years. I mean, he played like 20 some games extra a year.
And I always have to cover his nonsense in the true crime segment. That's how I know him.
Really? That's how you know him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff from like 15 years ago?
No, he did stuff recently.
What?
Did he?
Yeah, maybe.
He's got an attitude problem out there. Oh, Lord.
Can't be any worse than Galchenyuk.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah, we covered that. No, but
Yeah.
he was part of that whole thing where the guy sliced that guy's face open.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Where
about
was
to
I?
listen, I'm
On
about
the
to listen
field,
in
on
on
the
that.
field with the skate.
I'm about to listen in on that.
Oh,
Good tease. That was a good teaser.
No, did you?
Our research team is really down tonight, or I would have better details.
Yeah, they're worried about the ceiling.
Me too. That's something we share.
Caleb, did you happen to see the final, the last period of the game? Did you watch the whole game?
Of the
Four Nations Facial Final, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Did it feel off to you, like officiating wise? Like it seemed like they were letting them play a lot.
Yeah, but I appreciate that.
You do, but at the same time, there's too many men on the ice, and you got to call it. They were justifying too many men on the ice 3 times for Canada.
That's fair, and they got it on their game tying
goal
to make it 2-2, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, all in all, sloppy transition play there in the neutral zone.
Well, Canada had sloppy,
but I mean,
they had sloppy line changes all night long. It was just bad for the first 2 periods.
Well, and my wife made a good point. Like, she's like, how do they get all these guys to play together so well?
Because they've been playing since they were in juniors.
But that's what I said too. They've all been playing. Some of them played together, even though they play on different teams now. But
yeah,
to throw squads together essentially and just let it rip for 2 weeks, and then now you're back to other teams. That's really impressive. And you got guys that probably don't like each other all that much.
Well, yeah, we saw that
on rival teams, and I mean, it is impressive to watch those guys gel together. So
we need to hear more wisdom from Mrs. Caleb more often.
Yeah,
she's good.
I was like, I was impressed. I'm like, because I was literally just thinking it like right before she had said it. I'm like, oh, wow. That was a good light bulb moment for me. But yeah, I was impressed, not shocked by the sloppy, and maybe that's why they didn't call it.
Oh, they were. So when it happened, the announcer's like, oh, that should be 2 men on the ice. They're going to get him here. And they didn't. And apparently the justification was, oh, they were close enough to the bench. No, 4 strides.
What's close enough?
It was like 5 strides. That's not close enough.
5 strides is like half across the ice, man. For those guys?
Sorry. Yeah. Like
5 skate lengths?
Maybe. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And calling icing when they felt like it, just whatever. It just felt like it off game in the 3rd period. But
okay, you say the icing thing. The icing did feel inconsistent.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They didn't call it on Canada, which would have gave us face off within like 2 minutes of the game being over. They called it on us within 50 seconds of the game being over.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I didn't think of anything of it, but I'm like, man, that feels like that should have been, or like, that should not have been.
And you got to call that in that situation, but again, puck bounces didn't go our way, but fucking McDavid, whatever. It drew a record rating, actually. Are you surprised with that? Anybody surprised with that? I'm not.
Not at all.
The largest audience for a hockey game ever on ESPN, ever, and they used to host air the Cup final.
Yep. Back in the day.
Yeah. It garnered 9.3 million viewers with 10.4 million at its peak.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It also the largest audience for a non-NFL event ever on ESPN. Outside pro and college football coverage, it was ESPN's largest audience since 2024 NBA Finals. 4 games of tourney. The ESPN saw an average viewership of 4.3 million. Safe to say it was a hit, and they should do it every year.
Wow.
Maybe
I mean,
every 2 years.
the one question that I have, think about all the things you were referring to, okay? That's got to be the highest of a sporting event that didn't affect the standings that won the Olympics ever.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
All these games were like either, Stanley Cup finals or these referring to or, college playoff games, maybe the SEC championship. All these things mattered in the standings.
Right.
This was a
Yep.
one-off.
Yeah.
Think about how amazing that is.
It's just an exhibition that got thrown together.
Yeah, they threw it together this year, and they're like, we're going to do this for the All-Star break.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And they
Now,
blew it out of the water, man. It was just home run, slam dunk.
do you do it every year now, or do you leave
I
a
think
little
it's-
bit to be desired?
I think they
Every
said it's
other
going to be
year.
every 2 years.
I think that's probably a good idea.
I think that's what they
That
said.
sounds good, yeah.
It'll lose its luster otherwise.
Because like you said,
definitely.
Brian, if you do it every year, after 3 or 4 years, there'll be guys that take it
Mhm.
off or opt
Yeah.
out or whatever. But if you do it every other year, a
Mhm.
guy's going to be lucky if he gets to play in like 3 of them,
Yep.
Right.
at the peak of his powers.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got the Olympics coming up next
Yeah.
February, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
that'll kind of
That's going to be their All-Star break next year, too. So, like, the Olympics are going to be All-Star break. But a little bit of contract negotiations here. Canucks agree to a 5-year, $22.5 million extension with goalie Kevin Lankinen. Filled in for the injured Thomas Demko. He's posted a 19-8-7 record with 4 shutouts, 2.53 goals against average, and a .905 save percentage in 34 games this year with the Canucks.
that'll play.
Yeah, that'll definitely play.
2.5 goals, man. Nice.
That'll play for $22.5 million, man. Here's some bullshittery for you. Ducks forward Trevor Zegras suspended 3 games for high hit on Red Wings Michael Rasmussen. No call was made on the ice for interference, but Rasmussen didn't return to the game. And some more bullshittery happened in the game that was called for roughing. Sherratt cross-checked Frank Vetrano in the freaking head after the second period ended. A brawl ensued. Roughing was called 2 ways. One on Sherratt, and can't remember who the Ducks got called for, but it might have been Troy Terry. But Sherratt, no suspension, no fine. But Zegras gets a fine for hitting Rasmussen.
So he had a
He gets
shot to the
suspended.
head, and he didn't get suspended.
So yeah, it was a cross check to the head shoulder area, kind of like Vetrano was kind of turned away from him, cross checked him. Vetrano wasn't hurt or anything, but he did get up. He got up, and there was a roughing call, but there has been no fine and no suspension. But Zegras kind of collides shoulder to head neck area. No interference called, but he did get suspended 3 games. So a little bit of bullshittery there.
Sounds like a sloppy game.
It was. Detroit was actually up 4-1, and they ended up winning in overtime 5-4. Yeah. Patrick Kane got me last night.
He'll do
He'll
that.
do that.
Yep.
He will do that.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
No, I don't. Last thing for hockey. Ovi, 13 away from the great one after his 32nd career hat trick on Sunday.
His first career?
32nd.
Oh,
Yeah.
close to first. Oh, no, or first.
Yeah, no, that was not his first hat trick.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're 13 away with just over a month and a half, I believe, left in the season.
Gosh, I don't know.
You got to think, though, if they didn't have the lockout and he didn't break his leg, probably would have broken by now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But for sure.
He probably
I just
retired.
don't know if he's going to get it by the end of the year. This is what I was hoping.
Are you kidding me? 13 with
I feel like he had 20 some to go like a month ago. I
he
guess
just came back a month ago.
I guess by average. Well, I know I'm saying though, like 6 weeks. I mean, that's
Hold up. We'll look at it. We'll
that's
look at it.
2 goals a week, man.
He just scored 3. He scored 3 yesterday. So I mean,
I
come
mean,
on
shit.
now.
If he does that every game, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So 3 last night. Prior to that, he hadn't scored in 2 games.
That's
And
what I'm afraid of.
prior
At
to
some point,
that,
you're
he
gonna run out.
scored in 4 straight. Prior to that, that's everything for hockey. If anybody has anything to add, please do. Nothing.
No.
Nothing at all?
We're going to transition to a sport in transition.
Hmm.
So we'll have Julie lead us off with some updates from the NFL.
Yeah, we got some tush push, brotherly shove action right now. At least, so the God, I can't talk. The Green Bay Packers have come forward saying they want to ban the tush push, or at least that's what Tom Pelissero said, which means it was Green Bay Packers, and though it seems like there are some other teams who agree, the one of the issues is that Judy Batista says it best. Questions on the touch push play is whether it could be modified to keep some semblance of the play intact. The play is run so infrequently that there isn't enough injury data for the league to push for a ban based on injuries alone, which is a solid point. Let me see here. I guess there's hip drop and tush push were kind of discussed at the same time as trying to get rid of them both. And Bills head coach Sean McDermott is very adamant about not liking it. He said there's always been injury risk, and I've expressed that opinion over the last couple of years when it really started to come into play the way it's being used, especially a year ago. I just feel like player safety and health and safety of our players has to be at the top of our game. How many times is he going to say safety? Which it is. It's just that play to me, or the way that the techniques that are used with that play to me have been potentially contrary to the health and safety of the players. Again, you have to go back in fairness to injury data on the play, but I think the optics of it, I'm not in love with. So McDermott is not in love, y'all.
It's just a QB sneak. I mean,
it's more than that, Caleb. It really is.
I know, but look,
Look, if we don't got the
play better than the
numbers,
other three
I'm
now.
a numbers person. If we don't have the numbers, then F off.
Also, I think it's funny, and I wish that I'd sent in the clip of Jordan Love trying to do the tush push and him just like basically falling on his face because he's just not very good at football.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a Bears fan coming out.
Look,
But
not
it makes me
everybody
laugh
is
so
well
hard.
suited for the tush push. Okay,
I
only
hear you.
some tushes can be pushed properly.
I don't love it. I don't love that half of Jalen Hurts' whole legacy is built off of 15 touchdown runs that were basically him just getting shoved into the end zone by 3 guys.
Yeah, but that's none of our business.
All right, so here's my point of view. Here's my point of view. Here's my point of view. As a fantasy owner and a football fan, it's irritating to see Saquon Barkley get down to the 1 yard line and Jalen Hurts start licking his lips because he's about ready to have 17 hands shoved up his ass to put him in the freaking end zone, taking away a touchdown from Barkley.
It's ridiculous, and they did the same thing to DeAndre Swift when he was there.
It's annoying. It's just an annoyance of a play is what it is, and that's what people are sick of seeing.
Let your workhorse get what he deserves, and that's the touchdown after running you down 80 yards of the field, or running you down the field 80 yards.
I get your point, but then just say that. Don't try to make it a safety issue when the stats
it's
aren't
not a safety issue.
It's our point,
It's
but like
not a safety issue.
From the league's point of view, they always have to come up with a reason for something that's more overformulated than just saying it's annoying, stupid, and let's not do it anymore.
Yeah, but they don't have the numbers for it, so they're going to find a different argument.
Can't we just call it a fairness issue? Okay.
It's like a 95% success rate at this point, just in Philly alone.
It just sounds
But
like
what other
it's a
team
little
runs
bit
it
of
so
some
well?
fragile feelings around this.
They're the
I
only
don't-
team that
I
runs it
don't
so well,
like
and I don't
it,
understand
so-
it.
I don't like it. I don't want it anymore.
I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I just
Well, I
it
mean, back
is
in the day, they
annoying,
changed
but
all the cornerback cover rules way
Mm.
back in the 80s because the Oakland Raiders had the two best cornerbacks in the league. They changed all the pass interference rules and uh, a little later on, not just with the Raiders, but then they changed it to like a 5 yard window. You could hit
Mhm.
people, you know?
Yeah, which is
Just because of two guys, it was a fairness issue. It wasn't like a safety issue. The guys were getting
Well-
up after every play.
when you got guys who are mean dudes who are going to beat the shit out of you on the corners. It's hard to get offense going against those teams when they're also clotheslining the shit out of you. Just
All
because
I'm
they
saying
can.
is just say that you're feeling a little emotional and sensitive about it, and don't try to blame it on fairness or safety. Just
Fairness.
say you're in your feelings about it.
there's
Okay.
only one team that runs it well, and that's the Eagles. I don't know any other team that like legitimately can run that play. Maybe the Bills, but they don't even do it right then.
No,
Yeah, they
because
don't do it
McDermott's
well.
in his
Josh Allen
feelings
doing it.
about it.
They don't do it right
They
because
don't do it well.
they rely too much on Josh doing it himself.
Doing it. Yeah, right.
Whereas Jalen gets it started and then the rest of the team just says, hey, go. You know?
I mean, just admit that you don't like that they're good at it, and you're in your feelings about it. Just do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That man don't
That's
want to go
it.
back to Alabama. Nobody does. The
Oh
only
my
reason I want to go
Oh
back.
my word. Have you not heard they're sending like federal employees to like Birmingham?
Oh my lord. I definitely thought you were going to go with have you not heard the bird is the word. Oh, my
my
word.
God.
Have you not heard?
I do love that music video.
I heard that so many times when we had Marlon Bird on the
The
cover.
video. I thought you were
God.
talking about the Family Guy sketches,
Yes, that's what I was
which were
talking about.
always
Yeah.
awesome.
Great.
No, my boyfriend loves that song so much that I've seen the actual music video, like the OG one.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's talk about some news in the NFL. All right. Let's talk about it. All right. Bengals are releasing Sheldon Rankins. He signed a 2-year deal last year, worth $24 million. Played in only 7 games in year one. He was also due roster bonus on March 17th. Cincinnati gains $9.6 million in cap savings and also occur $2 million in dead cap. So, well, I guess they kind of came out 7 plus or plus 7 mil in the.
When they say they saved 9.6 and then incur the 2 point whatever,
Yeah,
hit,
they just
is that including the 2 point whatever mil, or is that 9 minus the 2 mil?
I think it's 9 minus. It's got to be -2 because it's dead cap, so they got to be paying the $2 million to him. So I think they come out plus 7 million on that side, in the green on that one.
Which they need it because they got to pay.
Bro, I
T.
don't
Higgins,
understand.
Wide receiver one apparently. So
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Their defense was duty this year.
I just let them go.
All right, you just let him go, but I'm more worried about my defense than paying T. Higgins, who's my third option,
Yeah,
second
I mean,
option, whatever.
this draft is again riddled with talent at wide receiver.
Just like every year or every other year.
It's been a lot recently. The past couple of years, I think, it's just been a
Last
ton of them.
15, bro. 15 years
So.
straight. There's been at least 4 or 5 gems in the draft.
I'm talking like 10, 12, 13 deep in the draft, like just legitimate. But yeah, stupid, I think, for them. I don't think that they have a ton of cap, do they?
I don't think so. Cincinnati's one of those.
Okay.
Well, they're paying Joe Burrow a shit ton of money.
Okay.
As they should.
Let's see. Julie, what's your next thing on the list?
I didn't have one except for Tyreek Hill's haircut.
Okay. No, we can skip that.
The Saints are hiring Brandon Staley as their DC.
Long hair, don't care.
Mr. Staley last coached as the 49ers assistant coach in 2024. That explains a lot, actually. He led the Rams defense in 2020, number 1 defense in the NFL as their defensive coordinator. Since then, no defense inside the top 20. He's been a part of the team, whether head coach or defense coordinator. So, What do we think about that, Julie? Let's start with you first, since
I
you're the
don't think about
Saints
that.
fan. You don't care? Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, DC. I wouldn't know. No.
No, you don't care. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's former Bears defensive assistant when Vic Fangio
Yeah.
was there in 18. And I thought he was for sure going to be like the hot commodity, but ended up flaming out in LA. But
It
I
was
think
LA.
it'll be good for him, kind of like Dennis Allen, Vic Fangio,
Mhm.
like all those guys. Kind of Eberflus was probably going to be really good in Dallas, I'd imagine, as a DC. Some
Sure.
guys just aren't meant to be head coaches, and they're just really stinking good coordinators, and ain't nothing wrong with
Like
Yeah.
Kingsbury. There we go.
it. Kingsbury
favorite-
should never try and be a head coach again. Just
Ever.
be one
Yeah.
of the best offense coordinators in the league.
While we're talking about the NFL, couple minutes. Do y'all have any thoughts on the combine coming up?
Only you do, Jay.
Probably you and Caleb the most. I'll probably tune into it just to check and see.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip around to it.
Yeah, I'll watch it for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
There's been a couple weird stories going around. The Shadur Sanders not going to be taking part in the on-field activities. He's just going to be doing the interviews.
He's gonna be working the charm rather than sucking at the combine.
I
Gotcha.
don't.
Yeah, he's not going to be doing the on-field. There's several guys that have skipped before, but they're generally, I would call them made men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys that you knew were awesome. Guys that knew they were going to be the number 1 or number 2 pick.
yeah,
With Shadur Sanders, he's kind of known as kind of a check down guy, has a high completion percentage, but he doesn't go downfield much, and everything. And it's a weird year. They invite a lot of people according to like NFL press releases, it's like 85% of the people that are at the combine get selected in the draft.
Yeah.
Selected in the 7. And out of the draft, 66% of the ones that get chosen are from the combine. So it's tough go if you don't get invited, and 329 people invited this time.
So is he gonna just do what his dad didn't show up to the combine, just run the 40 and leave, or
no,
I
he's
wouldn't
just-
know that
just
he's
doing
going to run the
interviews.
40. He's just doing the interviews.
he's just
Which
doing
I
it,
think
just
is-
charming it? Okay.
I think that he can probably only hurt himself by throwing, but I also think it's kind of
It could be, yeah.
He's got a pro day anyway.
hurting his draft.
Yeah,
stock. And he'll probably
but
throw at the pro.
at the pro day, the stopwatches would be held by people there like Colorado Buffalo staff.
True.
And
You know?
I
also-
think he needs
Makes
to
a lot
do
of
whatever he
difference.
can.
And it's probably the same field you've been on for 3 years too, which makes a lot of difference when you're timing by the 100th of a second.
Yeah, rather than where's the combine this year? Is it still
It's
in Indy?
at Indy. Yeah, it's always at Indy.
Indianapolis,
Still?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how concerned he is about draft capital, considering how the quarterback. Like, there's a lot of need for quarterbacks. Is what I'm trying to say. So, like, I don't know if should be that worried about. They're gonna pick him. Somebody's gonna pick him in early.
Yeah,
Well,
they
the
don't-
thing
yeah.
is, he could be the number 1 pick.
Right.
If
So,
he
like,
balled out, he could be the number.
there's a lot of talk.
Should he
Cam
be?
Ward's going 1.
No, this is a very weak quarterback draft. I don't think any
so
quarterback
like
should
he
draft number 1.
could. So he don't got to, and it might hurt him to do it.
No, Caleb Williams didn't do it. I mean, it's been very
Right.
common for quarterbacks not to. Usually, it's going to be the second and third day type pick that's going to throw to really give some extra tape out there, I guess. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Shadur. Any post game interview I've ever listened to has been very selfish, in my opinion. Legitimately throwing his teammates under the bus.
I've
Specifically
heard that
his
before,
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like,
wonder where he gets
very-
that from.
Very.
And when the news comes out about his dad, he's really gonna have a lot of problems. Like he's gonna need some therapy after he sees all that. Just be prepared for a distracted player. I'm just saying,
Okay.
sometimes family stuff can really get you.
Cam Ward is probably the safer bet. He's got a little bit of that dog mentality inside of him, I think. And
As
With
a Miami fan, I don't agree with that.
With the
I
pressure
think-
the Titans are under,
Nah. God.
they are.
I understand that they're under a lot of pressure to draft a quarterback that's going to take him into the future, but that team has some shall I say, holes that need to be filled.
So
The quarterback.
you think Abdul Carter would probably be a better choice?
I
They
The
need
defense played
defensive
all right.
help, definitely.
you guys keep drafting offensive linemen that just don't pan out for some reason.
2
I think
years
their
in a
O-line is
row,
decent.
top 10.
I
While
think
our
their O-line is
quarterbacks
decent.
are the worst in the league. 2 straight years, 2 different quarterbacks, worst in the league.
Unless you guys strike gold like the Bears did, where you trade away your number one pick and then end up trading it to the team that gives you again the number one pick in a better draft class. I mean,
Yeah.
and it could be possible. I don't know. It's tough. Maybe you trade back into like
You
number
know-
6 or 7, but
You know what, Jay? The Titans had the number one pick back when Goff was coming in. You traded it to the Rams. You got a big old haul for that. Did any of those picks like pan out? Because I don't recall if they did.
No.
probably not those specific picks. But y'all did have a bit of a streak there with Vrabel and
That team was carried by
that
Derrick
front
Henry.
office.
Our research team is back.
Yeah,
Tennessee definitely is under a lot of. They're under the microscope.
Yeah.
Will Levis, I don't know. One day he looks like he's freaking Peyton Manning, and the next day he looks like
He's Peyton Manning.
Which Peyton Manning? 1998
Yeah.
Peyton Manning?
2004 Peyton Manning.
Okay.
No shot.
Never.
Put all of his best games ever
Yeah.
in his entire life. And
But anyway,
if you combine them,
After
combine
our
all of his
talk
best
about-
games.
After I talk about the Manning genes, I went back and looked at like the older brother because I wanted to see how they hit him, and Peyton definitely got schwacked with the stick the hardest. Even
yeah.
yeah,
You don't like his big forehead?
I'm not saying that. It's a combination of things. Oh Lord. Even that new kid, Arch, at least he don't look like his son. Oof.
Yeah.
I
I was going to say, I encourage everybody to watch the combine. I've been doing a little research into like the some of the G5 people may have a decent shot. I mean, they even gave the local quarterback here an invite from the University of Memphis. He played in the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl. He led 2 second half touchdowns to win the game. Milrow showed nothing. I think if anybody picks Milrow before the before the third round, they'll be very sad.
If they pick him before the 5th or 6th round,
Yeah.
He's
But
not.
anyway, but Ashton Genty too is skipping the pro day part of it. He's just
Is he really?
He is, which is for somebody from Boise State, that's kind of ballsy. You
I
know?
mean, right now, I've seen so many stinking mocks where they got the Bears drafting him at 10, and I'm like, I will jump off my house.
No, that's way too high for a running back.
I think he's good, but man,
unless you guys have a roster, yeah,
so deep, deep.
Yeah. So the thing is that with that though, Jay, if you draft a running back at 10, unless your quarterback was out the year prior and he got you into the top 10 pick, in your roster set, you probably shouldn't draft a running back there.
Yeah,
there's definitely needs that are.
You look back in the past. Saquon worked out good being top 5, but when the Titans were smart enough to draft Derrick Henry, when literally the year before the running game was the best part of their game, but they saw Derrick Henry there in the 2nd round. And they drafted him like early in the 2nd round. I was like,
who's your running back there?
I'm trying to think, but I think it was 2 guys before Derrick Henry came in.
Well, if we don't see Caleb after the draft, we will send help.
We'll know that DeShanti got picked.
We'll know that he jumped off the roof.
I'd be willing to put money on it. They won't do that.
Anyway, I think everybody needs to maybe give our final thoughts and whatever on this week, which was a very weird week in sports.
Okay, 2 things here.
Okay.
Jags are hiring former Rams exec James Gladstone as their new GM. Spent 9 years in LA, director of scouting strategy last 3 seasons. Also, one last thing on hockey. Nico Dawes, first career shutout with the New Jersey Devils. Just got caught up earlier this week. Played Nashville last night, blanked him 5-0. So
Wow. So Gladstone got his 10,000 hours in of being a professional football analyst.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But he looks like
good
he's
for that
10. He looks like he's 10 years old.
guy. Well,
And
he's
he-
heading over to Duval.
Okay.
That is
There's
cringy.
not a team
Yeah.
I'm rooting for less than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, because of Liam Cole.
Yeah. I mean, I can't.
He
And I
looks
like
like
Shad Khan. He's an Illinois alum, but
he looks like the cool uncle that tries to stay hip when the nephews become teenagers.
lame.
Stop
It's
talking
so
about me like
cringy.
that.
And when he goes 2-15 next year, it's going to look worse.
Yeah.
One of
go
my
into the
nephews
15.
did call me Uncle Julie, so
Oh, that's
Oof.
rough.
no, I thought it
They're
was
off
hilarious.
they're off the Christmas list.
No, it was the cutest thing. You'd have to see it. He was pretty little, so it was
Okay.
still in that cute range.
Yeah, I'm out for the week. I got nothing else.
Nothing?
Nothing else.
Man, Jay, that's
The only thing I got is I was wrong about Cincinnati. They got $53 million in cap space now, so they are well off. I think like 8th or 7th in the league right now in terms of that. So they'll do some work.
Yeah.
Well, assuming that my roof doesn't fall, I did not finish the Kardashian curse article, so that'll be going out this week, whether or not it's the reason for the demise of many athletes. One of those conspiracy theories that I cover, and also the final African American Heritage Month article. If you want to see some really cute, great examples of black couples in law, I just did an article highlighting them. Obviously, Sierra and Russell Wilson, #1 for life. So take a look at that one. Yeah, that's what I got for this week.
Mr. Unlimited.
Sounds
Okay, he's unlimited with them kids. Shoot.
good. Okay, Julie, what do you say at the end of the episode?
Yeah, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Ding! There you go. Thank you, subscribers. We can't do it without you, and we will see you next week.